Welcome everybody back to the den. So here you have it, 222 monsters that are represented in the core set of Gloomhaven. That's not including a few monsters that are of course in Forgotten Circles, not got that far yet, or the main bosses. I've done a few videos on this that hopefully you've all watched, so this is just a light touch to bring everything up to speed and just bring us back into what we're looking to achieve here. So these are it's a lot of models. It's been a journey to say the least, getting these models to the table, and not the point of actual clipping and getting them out of the frames and everything. I'm not going to go into the detail because there are a couple of other videos I've done on how that's achieved, but it was more about clipping them out and then seeing how well they were, and then going back to the design table and readjusting them, and there was a lot of toing and throwing which took quite a bit of time. So anybody who's been promised this sort of update video to see where we're at before perhaps committing to getting hold of the print service, it has been quite a journey on that, and these are particular redesigns, and each print run takes anywhere between 3 to 5 hours, so you can't see how they come out until, so it's been a long time coming, but here they are. They look absolutely fantastic. The next, some few bits have been painted, but vast majority of course haven't, and that's the next stage, but they've been cleaned, clipped. Still find a bit of prep to go with them, but I'm just, like I say, want to cover the main things. And one of the first things I must say, this is, shall we say, not a project for the faint-hearted. You do need some reasonable modelling skills and a bit of patience. There's a lot of clipping out that takes its time, of course it does, because of the nature of the beast, and because of that this is not out the box on the table at all. I have covered this before, but I can't overemphasize this. This is a little bit of a labour of love. It's not insurmountable, it's absolutely fantastic, but I don't want people to get the impression that after 10-15 minutes they'll have all these models out onto the table and so on and so forth, and that's not the case, which reiterates to me some of the equipment that you're going to need. And I did cover this in the last video. Don't forget, they will come to you in individual bags. There'll be a couple of plates of models in each one, and they will feel still a little bit sticky, but washed, okay, and that is the very, very, very fine little bit of resin that maybe, and a bit tacky, that they will then see. So you're going to need a good UV lamp for a start off, but some of the key things you're going to need, and I have got the other pair over there, is I had some Tamiya side cutters. You'll need some good side cutters. These are sort of some general cheap ones which can really get under and just chop the bases off, which is absolutely fine. But then I had some Tamiya ones, and I think they were roughly about £30, and I've never paid £30 in my life for a pair of side cutters. But these really have proven their worth, and they're really good steel, and they're very sharp pointed, and you can really nibble at the stem. And once again, have a look at the other videos that I've done on how you actually get these models to the desk. A toothbrush. Why we don't want a toothbrush? Because when you're clipping all those little tiny bits off, they sort of get stuck onto the model, so you need to brush the model off a little bit just to take all those up. The other item you're going to need is a scalpel, and that's because once you've done all the clipping, you're going to leave little nubs on there, and you can use that scalpel just to scrape those nubs off. So a couple of things on there. And the other item that I would strongly get, if you can, is here you have a magnifying glass, but it's with a built-in LED, and that helps with, especially with my eyesight, being able to work up close with parts. So that's a good investment. But if you're into all this, this is the sort of stuff you'd have anyway from for minor miniature paintings and so on and so forth. One of the other delays was about doing this service and giving this service to the community is that there threw up some maybe issues of copyright. And I've got to say now, I'm not selling you a particular model. All right, what you're paying for is the service of printing that model, and the model is your choice. It's your choice as to what model you want printing, and obviously there are only certain amount of models that fit the profile of what goes into Gloomhaven. There is a lot of proxies and there's other things that people don't, and I'm sure that people will choose them, but invariably, you know, you are limited as to what is out there. However, I will not be putting these on Etsy or eBay, and I will not be showing photographs on any of those if we're doing the print service. However, I know people have produced folders of all these models that are available in an order, and technically, because of the licensing, you are to send me the folder. It's been proven you can come to a print service and have them printed, but I won't be saying this is the model that I'm going to sell you, etc., etc. Obviously you're guided by the internet and everything to those particular models, so it's a little bit of a grey area on there, which one of the things that sort of made me sit back and go, well, you know, I'm not saying you've got to have this, I'm offering a print service. Now, there are a number of people coming now who are looking for printing service of models that I've not had interaction with, and there is a bit of a process to that. And the process is that firstly, that model must be printable, it must have the supports in the right way, you must be able to clip it out, and you must be able to sort of mount it and everything like that. And that's where, if you, a lot of these models, as I'm going through the whole library of what's available and things, I'm actually doing that work to one side for when somebody comes along and says, have you got this model? Oh yes, yeah, I have. And the only interest I have that in that I've actually printed it before and mounted it and done everything else to it, and that is really key important, and that can hold things up. If you decide that you want to use the print service and send me a lot of models that I haven't had interaction with before, then please be aware that there will be a considerable wait, because I have to go through that process and mount them and test them and do everything else, which I'm happy to do, but there will be a delay in that for there, which would come us on the minute to Frosthaven, which a number of people have said, what are you doing through Frosthaven and what's happening with Frosthaven? Okay, so one key thing that you must really do if you take the print service and you get these, all right, is keep them in the dark. All right, do not get them exposed to UV wherever possible. It doesn't mean to say you can't open them up in your house, of course you can, but please don't take them out into the sunshine and show them off and things like that until you have clipped them and mounted them on the base. If you do not have one of these, but you live in sunny California or somewhere that's really sunshiny, you only have to leave them outside and the sun will set them. It's not a problem. If you're like me in cold old England, then you know, where the sun normally doesn't shine, although it has been just recently, then of course a UV lamp in the workshop is fine. But until you've done that, please do not expose these to any UV, mainly because it's not insurmountable that you can get them clipped out of the things. It's not a problem. It must make them a little bit more brittle, and as such, you know, you have that damage of clipping in, and that's one of the things about nibbling at the stem rather than a quick sharp shot which sends a shockwave. And on some of the really delicate ones, and we're talking about the demons and things like that that have that sort of issue with lots of fine detail, you can actually get them to snap, which means, and I haven't got it here and I've showed it off in the video, the super glue. That's sort of key element. Super glue setting. Okay, it's a two-part. They sell it all over. It's an activator. You put the glue on, you spray the activator on, it sets in like 10 seconds, rock hard, and you need that. All right. So there's that, along with everything else, you're going to need those glues. All right, and sometimes mounting on the bases. The bases that I supply, I've covered this before, are generic bases. I'm not doing anything else with the bases or textures or anything like that. They are what they are. In fact, these little forest imps here, I don't know if you can see that little forest imp is actually on the base, and I put in those, and the detail on these are absolutely stunning. For all this collection, it's just, there's a lot of painting to go on. But of course, once you've mounted them and perhaps undercoated them all, a nice quick undercoat, you may feel like you want to have quite a little wash on them, just bring some detail out, and then you can actually start playing with them and then paint them as you go. So it's entirely down to you how that is. So that's where we're up to on there. The actual print list, because it's not going on to Etsy, so what I've been doing is I'm going to be taking orders from people. So what I will do is I will produce a set of these, and then I will offer them to the first person on the list of interested parties. If they come back and say I don't want them, I've moved on, you know, I've perhaps gone to Kingdom Death Monster, why, then obviously I'll offer them to the next person on the list. And the reason I do that is because these are very time consuming. There is a high failure rate in the resins, and I don't want to be going through that process of people ordering, people sending money in, and I'm restricted to a time frame. The time on these alone is 43 plates, I think it is. 43 plates, each plate taking in around, on average, 4 hours. So work the math out, that's a lot of things, and there are going to be failures, and everything's got to be cleaned, and I don't live in this room, alright? So there's a huge amount of work there, and I would rather have a full set available and then offer it out to an individual next on the list. Alright, so there's no obligation from either part. Okay, I think that covers about everything that's in there. Like I say, we just need to make sure that you're aware that there's not specific monsters, although there's a huge amount of choice out there. It is in fact the print service, so that's what you're paying for, the print service. Good. Right, final thing, Frosthaven. Whoa, yes, Kickstarter's finished now, everybody's Frosthaven, everybody's looking forward. We know that it's going to be, what, February, March next year that Frosthaven will be out, and hopefully the pandemic will have been a bit more consigned to a bit more history books, and things will be up and running a lot easier. Let's hope that's the case. And because of that, everybody's looking for Frosthaven. Now there has been a lot of movement in the Frosthaven design area. There's a number of monsters, and one of the key things about this, which I've also put on the list, and don't forget we've all got access to the Google Drive lists and things, that nearly 60%, if not slightly more, monsters here are actually appearing in Gloomhaven. So 60%. So, and I've highlighted them out, so technically if you wanted the monsters you could just be buying the Frosthaven monsters from the current collection and might not want to bother with the original core box set monsters. I haven't moved on to Forgotten Circles yet for that, or bosses. They will come later on as well, so I do intend to do the whole shebang. But people are asking about Frosthaven. There are a number of designers at the moment putting forward different designs on Frosthaven miniatures and things like that, monsters, and of course I'll be there to print those out. So please make yourself a member of the Facebook page, and updates will come through Facebook as and when we do some prototypes. And I've actually got some on the bench at the moment from some great designers to print and see how they look and so on and so forth. So there will be a Frosthaven collection. There'll also be, for those people that get all the scenery that I've been producing for Gloomhaven, then there will be that. Currently we're not privy to a lot of artwork from Isaac at the moment, and hopefully we'll see the artwork that he kindly gave the community last time. I don't see great changes. I see a few map tiles that are somewhat different, and for those that are on my Facebook you'll see that we were a little sort of dabble and play with the ship, as it were, so that's a bit of an ongoing thing. But from what I can see, most of the tile layouts will be slightly different, and for anybody knowing, I do the tiles collection, so there is lots of more blanks, and I think it's more about recoating them to look like snowscapes and things like that, you know. As for buildings and other things, yes, some of the walls I can change up to make more sort of ice cavey, but I really need to start seeing where the artwork is, and I don't think we'll get privy to that till either Isaac issues the artwork like he did last time, or we start seeing more of the rule book and bits and pieces in there. As for other scenery, static scenery, tables, chairs, all that sort of thing, I don't see great changes. There seems to be a few little statues and bits and pieces lying around, but anybody who's got the original collections, it's not a matter of parking those. I think very much Frosthaven will be hopefully a tidy little top-up box set that will go alongside all the other stuff. So, and there's nothing worse than, you know, having a pile of stuff and that goes out. The only thing that would probably may not be the case is the actual map tile layouts, but even those, I suspect there's going to be a large amount of those available, and a few of the different ones, but that's a fairly easy fix. So that's it for the Frosthaven. Keep an eye out on Facebook as we get stuff up. I'll be posting it and putting it out, and obviously the community's already up for getting ahead. I want all the miniatures and all the scenery on the table. I haven't got the game yet, alright, so you could be having everything up and ready. And yes, you know, something like this, just this, is a massive investment of time, and then you start talking about the scenery and everything else that's been produced for it, and that's a massive amount of time. But there's probably nothing better position. I think we'll have all this in place before fulfillment on the Kickstarter, and at least you'll have hit the ground running. Okay, hopefully that's answered all there's a little niggly questions about the thing. Like I say, if you're interested in a set for these monsters of your choice, alright, monsters of your choice, then obviously you've got access to the spreadsheet. I'm going to put that as a link on there, but it's available on my Facebook page as well. That will give you a full breakdown of what it is. And obviously, once I've kept all the names and everything, you know, it's irrespective, because if you've got a cave bear, for instance, like this cave bear here, there are lots of cave bears out there, but I've kept the names running for that. And having a look at the models that are available elsewhere, that they will be, as a number of models actually have 2 plates worth, because of the way that they're angled and sat. They take up a lot more space on there, so some of them had to be split out into 2 print batches to get the 6 up, and that's just the way that that's the way they map out. That's it. Thanks very much for watching. Of course, if you've got any questions, then PM me, no problem at all. Get in touch. Anyway, happy gaming. Hope you're all staying really safe, and whilst we've still got a little bit of the lockdown, although that currently it's looking like it's all easing off a little bit, get some more of that painting in, and get some more of those scores. So till next time, thank you very much. Goodbye now.